Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new chapter of Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another chapter, thank you so much for giving me a listen. If you love the show, drop me a review on your favorite podcast app, or you can become a patron, patreon.com/oldmanbrad. We're coming towards the back end of the month of Mattei, so we had a little bit of a change last week. We put Zombie 3 on a week early because there was some switcheroos. This was supposed to originally be with Jason from History of Bad Ideas, but he had his son's baseball tournament in Florida. We couldn't get a recording locked down, so I called to my very own bullpen, and I pulled in my relief pitcher to come help me talk Rats, Night of Terror, and that is the one and only Drew from the Real Fields. He's my guy. Anytime I need him, I just call him up. How you doing, Drew?
I like your sports ball references.
You like that? You like that? I thought about that all morning.
Go team.
When he said that the snafu and everything, I was like, that's okay. I know someone that I can get in a pinch. And if anything, he's seen the movie, so he should be able to do this good. And I mean,
he's seen the movie. He's already recorded it one other time on a different podcast this year. Within 5 months, it was actually just back in February.
So it's a big year for you. You've watched Rats Night of Terror.
I've watched this at least 3 times.
But thank you for coming on to talk. You know, this is your second film in the month of Mattei. We did Hell of the Living Dead. Now you could come back for Rats Night of Terror.
Night of Terror.
You know, I've been asking everybody what's their history with Bruno Mattei, and I know you answered it before. But now you're back. Have you watched any others between that time, or just this one again?
No. Just this one again.
This one and the last one. We already know your history. We know what you've seen. we can dive
on in.
Jump right in, and let's talk Rats Night of Terror.
Rats. What do they want from us? Rats. Why are they man's enemy? Rats. They are watching and waiting. Rats. Their time has come. Why do rats repel us? What is it about those little furry bodies that's so frightening? Just think of them close to you. They're here. They're coming. God, no!
100 years after a nuclear war has devastated the planet, society has been reborn into 2 factions, the Underground Society and the Scavengers above in the wastelands. A group of scavengers on bikes come across a town infested with flesh-eating rats, and soon the gore is spilling everywhere. This is written Claudio Fragasso, who has worked with Bruno many a times, and directed by Bruno Mattei. It's also credited to Claudio Fragasso as a director, but things have come out and people have said, hell no, he didn't direct any of this. This is all Bruno's movie. It stars Ottaviano Dell'Acqua, Garetta, Massimo Vanni, Gianni Franco, and many others. I'm not even going to try to go down all the rest of the names. This came out in 1984, and it's Bruno Mattei.
It's very Mattei, and with that, by default, a lot of shit doesn't make sense.
Correct.
But it's still enjoyable as hell.
It starts off as this.
In the year of our Lord, 2015.
Yeah.
After the Great War.
You think it's like this, it's going to be a full-on Mad Max clone, the way it starts off.
You would think so, but they've clearly looked like they've raided, I don't know, the last remnants of a Spirit Halloween for all of their costuming. I find it weird that, apparently in this irradiated wasteland after the bombs had dropped and you've had people separate themselves to go live underground, but then they're tired of the tyranny. They're tired of being oppressed. We're going to go live on the surface. Why in the midst of let's just say where they're filming is Nevada or something. Why are there iguanas? Why are there random iguanas? I'm like, this is not their natural habitat.
No. And if the bomb is dropped, it's probably dry, maybe. I don't know.
So I also like watched the Riff Tracks version of this, and I thought it was hilarious. Where in the Riff Tracks version, you suddenly see an iguana, and the guy's just like, "Wow, it really irradiated those rats and mutated them,
Burned all their hair off."
But I mean, you have again the Mad Max styling of transportation. One of the vans just looked like they wrapped it in like aluminum foil because it just has like little slits for them to see out of and drive, and it's the one that Chocolate is sitting on top of with like a gun.
And they're all, like you said, rated a Spirit Halloween for costuming because they all look like characters we've seen. Like I think before we came on, the main guy, he looks like a Dollar Tree Kurt Russell or something.
Yeah, he is a Wish.com Kurt Russell with a red sash. He has like the long hair and the beard, so that kind of works it out for him. But then again, you have this like rad-tad group of characters, not something that is akin to like the Magnificent Seven, but they seem so haphazardly put together.
Yes.
It's almost like, oh, who would be in this, typical diabolical wasteland? What is it? Fausto Lombardi, who plays Deuce. He's like their monk, like transcendentalist,
yes,
kind of like spiritual dude, and he has this. It looks like someone just took like a pen and just drew on his forehead to draw like a third eye.
And he looks like what are they called? Hare Krishna. That's like exactly what he looks like.
Selling the flowers at the airports, which honestly, during the 80s, that was a huge thing, and that was very much like where they would go and be, selling their little flowers in the airports.
Maybe.
But again, you also have actors like Monet DeVivier. She plays Lilith, and I don't know why she looks like she's ready for like a sexy Phantom of the Opera rendition. Why is this your go-to outfit for like a post-apocalyptic wasteland?
Well, maybe that's all she could find. There's not a lot around.
I absolutely refuse.
I mean, after this big Mad Max opening, they're trying to kind of get off the streets or out of,
There's no streets. They're out in the middle. They're like in a crater.
Well, yeah, it goes from like the desert to all of a sudden we found a town because we found the set for Once Upon a Time in America hanging out. Which had been falling into disrepair. This is the one thing that like it never made sense to me for the film, like especially even this far off or this early on. These are the people who separated themselves from those who were living underground, mm-hmm. and they wanted to be different. They wanted to be free. They're so on edge and like having their guns at the ready, and like just ready to fight. Like Chocolate is like, aiming and like, trying to like see who's up in the storefronts and the windows and like, oh my gosh, we're all ready to fight. And it's like, who? We never see another person. Like, who are you fighting? I don't know. Like maybe
there's no one.
It was the story before this all started. Like maybe some shit went down and they're like on edge now.
I don't know. It's so weird for them to just be that on edge. You never see another person throughout the entire film. Or at least ones that are alive.
You see people at the end. We'll get to that, but they're people in suits, and then we'll get to the end here.
But for the entirety of the film, there's not another person.
No, they're
try and worry about.
Yeah, they're in this building, which I said it as a joke. Once Upon a Time in America, but they did use that set,
right?
The Once Upon a Time in America set, and they're searching when they get in the building. They're searching around, and one of the things I found funny is where he sends him over the counter for the bar to like jump in looking.
This never made any sense to me.
He's all going on?
Hey, video, go, and he hops the bar, and then he's like skulking and he's like looking around, like let me go, like check things out ahead of the group. You are 3 feet in front of everybody else, and they are following right behind you. What was the point of that? There was 0 point to it.
There was. And then they find some supplies. They start eating just straight up flour, Drew.
No, it's not even like eating like the straight up flour. It's the fact that like Duke finds a bag, bites into the bag, into the plastic, and he's like, it's sugar. sugar. And he starts like pouring it all over his face. Why? And then like the rest of the stuff that they go into, it's like jars of like pickle. It has to be pickled something, why it would last so long. But also like, how long has this stuff been here?
Yeah.
Because there's stuff that's covered in cobwebs and dirt, but then this stuff is looking very fresh and very like it's been there.
Like it was just dropped off.
Like it was just dropped off. The beds are like freshly made, or I guess like they're not cots, but they are like actual like just, you know, makeshift beds. But I love like they're going around, they're just like inspecting the boxes. Lilith walks over and like she like knocks on a box, and I'm like, what are you doing? But then Chocolate, after they all realize that like it's food, they just start like scarfing down. Apparently food is very like scarce. It is a scarce commodity. Yet they're going through this stuff like nobody's business. I focused so much on Greta in that entire scene. She looks like a wild animal. She's shoving hot dogs into her mouth. She takes like 3 of them and puts them in like a shirt pocket.
I mean, that I could see. At least she's saving some for later. She's not trying to eat it all.
Then you have Kurt dump a pre-filled bag of flour. Like, it's not even a full bag. Like, clearly, like, more than half the bag has been filled with something, and they added just like, you know, like a cup and a half of flour. He dumps it on top of Chocolate's head, and he's like, "It's flour! Oh my god, it's flour!" Like, are you gonna bake? Like, or what are you gonna do with this? I love dumping it on top of her head, and then she decides to get up, get really excited, dance a jig, and go, "Ha ha ha! I'm white! I'm as white as you!" And everyone just starts laughing like it's the funniest shit in the world.
The 80s were a different time. Italians had different senses of humor.
I'm guessing.
I think it was it shortly right here is this where we see our first rat and body?
You have, I think it's Cindy Ledbetter who played Diana. She like falls back on the bed and she's like eating a bag of sugar again, just like Duke. And she falls back on the bed and she notices something moving and she pulls back the sheet. And then there's just a dead body that has been completely chewed up and, you know, mostly devoured by a bunch of rats. As much as annoying as it is for things that don't make sense, the amount of screaming that this lady does in this film is obnoxiously over the top.
Yes, I mean, there's
a lot of screaming.
A lot of screaming, and just like Bruno Mattei, his films, you know, I've gone through a few, you know, I've gone through quite a few, just how much nonsense they are, and just how, like, not even, I don't want to say fully incoherent, but there's pieces where it just doesn't make sense. Like, the flour and the lines and jumping over the counter, that's just the beginning.
That is.
There's even more along the way.
Like when Kurt walks up while they're screaming, he's like, stop it. You act like you've never seen a dead body before. And they're like, he was probably murdered. And like, there's no signs of him being murdered. And I'm like, there's no signs of like 80% of his body left. Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
And also like for the amount of dead bodies that they find, which we found one, they'll find one more later. Were all these crates and boxes only like one person? Like 2 people? Like that's who was running this rundown hotel as like a storage facility.
Well, this hotel
boxes, which also has like a computer straight out of like Star Trek.
Which that computer, it was funny when they get in, they're like, it's a video game. And then one's like, God. I never get a video game. And
I love, he's like, this is a video game. I should know. That's how I got my name. And I'm like, your name is Video. Your name is not video
game.
Your name is Video. And he's like, I can make it work. And then Greta, I'll make you pregnant if you can get this thing to work.
Yeah.
What?
And he does get it to work.
After he like fiddles with like,
he's like
20 different
messing around
and switches.
Something's bound to happen, right? Again, it's
just getting started.
It's just getting started. I mean, we haven't even got into our full rats yet.
Yeah.
Those are like, the first effect was really good. There's another rat scene that I really liked. In this film, from things I read, were the rats they had, they're basically like, they had to paint them all black because they were all white rats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they had to paint them all, and they only had this was it. And through filming, a lot of them died, but they just left.
Yep.
They left the dead rats just laying around and just kept using them and throwing them at the actors and stuff, like the dead rat. I'm sure it stunk too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Towards the end, I'm sure it was like,
I'm sure it's terrible. In no way, shape, or form would PETA ever allow this now.
Oh,
I'm surprised.
no.
I'm surprised this did not get... Because here's the thing. It's not a matter of like that you see the rats are endangered or hurt throughout the filming, except for one incident in which the guy flings a beer mug down the bar and like it slides and it plows right into a rat.
It does. And there's another scene where they're like kicking them. They're walking through as they're kind of around, and he kicks. I think he punts one almost, or one of them does.
Does he? Okay. I only remember the beer mug.
But there was The Other Hell, another Bruno Mattei movie that I talked with Dustin from Flicks and Friends. There's a scene in that where they actually cut a chicken's head off. Like you said, like it's
no cannibal holocaust.
PETA would not allow this anymore. There are a lot of rules in place. Also, Europe, it was a little more loose than filming here would be too. Was it shortly after this where they go? Is it dark and they go outside? Because there was a scene that felt very The Thing. Like the music was going, like when they were all huddled in like the circle.
So not only do you have like the random synth music that is in play at the very beginning, it also reminded me of like 1986's Transformers the movie. The amount of synth music that's happening. And I was all like, is Stan Bush like composing the music? But when they're like exploring the rest of the building, and you have Lilith and who's the other guy? It's not Video. Lucifer? No, it wasn't Lucifer.
Is it the guy who wants to become the leader later? Is it that guy?
No. The guy who wants to become the leader later is Duke.
Duke, that's right.
The guy who he literally looks like a general, like dressed up.
Well, he looked like they wanted him to be Duke from Escape from New York.
Yeah, but Lilith and I think it's Noah, who was down in the basement. Like they're walking around, and he's like, "Oh, the flashlight went off." He's like, "What's with this thing?" Oh man. Okay, let's carefully walk around when clearly there's light enough to cast shadows behind us, but apparently we can't see. But when they finally get the power going and they're down in the basement, I want to know how long the power has been out, and yet these plants are growing just fine. Because if the power is meant to be on and regulate like water, as well as like UV lights in order for the plants to grow, all these plants should be dead. How sheltered or stupid is Lilith, where she's like,
"What? How is this possible? Why are these not growing outside?"
How is the English dubbing more difficult to understand than the original Italian?
Because it's a dubbed Italian movie that it's part of its charm.
Maybe. I feel like she was only cast in this movie to show her breasts and
yes,
have a sex scene, and that's it.
Which is
because she can't act.
Let's talk about this weird sex scene where they're trying to have sex. They're sharing a room.
Oh, it's the big open room with all the beds, and everyone's trying to relax and go to sleep.
And they're like, "We're gonna have sex."
You have Lucifer, played by Jean-Christophe Bretignères, and Lilith, who are in the same sleeping bag, just humping away on the floor.
Yeah,
Tauros is just in the bed, literally like 2 feet from them, and he's like, "Can you guys stop? This is nasty."
Yeah, like seriously,
I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you hump. And I love the dubbing where he's all like, "If you're gonna copulate, go outside." Everyone else is like, "Yeah, seriously, like go outside, please."
They're like, "Fine."
Brad, I don't care what the future or the post-apocalyptic destiny holds for us. I'm not going to be fucking in the same room as you on the floor.
That's fine. You'll just take it outside into this.
I'll take it outside
into this wasteland of who knows what is out there, which it doesn't bode well for him.
The phrasing is just so dumb. He's all like, "Quit it. You're ruining my, you're killing the mood. I was about ready to blast off." And then they're stuck in the sleeping bag.
Yes, they're stuck in the sleeping bag.
Again, it's so random. I felt like it would have been more appropriate if like everyone is like in that room quietly calming down, decompressing, maybe trying to go to sleep, and then suddenly Lucifer and Lilith, like, they get up and they walk away and drag the sleeping bag with them.
You know what it was? It's because they ate so much sugar. They're trying to like they're just wired, and they're like, we gotta do something.
Now they're spiraling down.
Yeah, they're like, let's just have sex, and it'll burn some of this off. Maybe that's what it was.
I love that after apparently, done the deed, he just has to go walking around and find a drink. And she has to like sleep the rest of it off.
Yes.
The way that they both end up dying is hilarious to me, especially for her. Now, if you have the most creative kill in the entire film, it's hers.
Hers is pretty good because
it is pretty good. It is pretty good. I mean, there has not been many times where a character, and forgive me, dear listeners, where a character has died due to like vaginal interfacing. I can only think of this Sleepaway Camp and a moment from Terrifier where she is chainsawed in half.
That scene,
which is still to this day the only scene that in the longest time, like nothing fazed me ever for horror anymore.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was just like, oh.
And yeah, whenever you talk to people at Terrifier, you're like, the scene. And then you go to the sequels, remember the scene in the sequel? Oh yeah. Or the scene in another one. I don't want to say this could be that of like, remember the scene in Rat's Night of Terror, because I'm sure so many people have watched this movie. They'll be, oh yeah. Rat's Night of Terror.
Yeah, isn't this like a Christmas special for a lot of folks?
Yeah, they're like that sleeping bag. they just had sex, and
this is the family.
A good family film.
This is a good family film, Bradley,
where rats come out of people's mouths, and
she's trying to speak. What? She can't. She's dead.
Which was a very cool scene. The rat climbing out of the mouth.
Before that happens, and before the rat like burrows into the sleeping bag and then decides to go up her
hoo-ha area.
Her hoo-ha. Why? I don't know about you, but like I would be able to reach down and try to grab whatever is like going in attacking my nethers.
You're stuck in a sleeping bag. Yes,
but still,
your hands are still free.
Right. You have enough room. Like, also, why is she reach down, grab it, close your legs, squeeze the rat with your thighs? I don't care. Like
what we learned from, just moments previous, the legs, I guess, don't close.
Apparently.
And then when he like walks away, doesn't he he ends up falling down like almost like a crater or a ditch or something.
Oh, like you mean like a sewer? It's like a sewer.
Is that what it is? I was trying to remember.
It leads under the street, but this is after like he has found a bottle of something and he's, I guess, getting drunk, and he's like, he messes with a telephone, and then he starts like staring off at the windows, and he's like trying to call out to someone, like who's there?
Who's he gonna call on the phone, by the way?
I don't even know why he answers it. These people apparently don't know what the computer is, but they know what a telephone is.
Hello?
It's weird to know exactly like what these people's knowledge is in this post-apocalyptic future where it's, several like 100 years, I guess, like after the great fallout of the war. I don't know. I don't know how disconnected or what technology they have taken and had with themselves underground. But this is probably one of my favorite moments where when he slips down and he has to like hold himself up through the opening, and then just someone is off screen just like hurling rats at him.
Yes. Dead rats, live rats.
Dead rats, live rats.
Whatever they could find. They're like, there's some over here on the floor. Just throw them.
The way that the audience is supposed to just like accept the fact that like apparently this is how rats attack people. Not like they'll chase you and run up your leg. No, they apparently drop from nowhere out of the sky.
When they're dropping into the little tube thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're coming down. It's like they were just like scooting them off the floor. Like, here, just throw them in this pipe.
When they're coming down the tubes, that's fine. But then when I think it's Noah, when Noah goes up there and says like, no, get out of the water. This is why it's polluted. Suddenly he gets like rats dumped on him. And like, they're not coming down the tube. They're just dumped on him.
These are the rats. They're just hanging out, waiting for their chance. Like, if we just hang out here, we could bum rush them. You talk about kind of society and things they wouldn't know or know. You know, you kind of look at today how some of our society has gone. I'm like, you know what? It's not far off. It's really not far off.
It's not.
These post-apocalyptic stuff where they're going to completely forget everything of society within the last, 100 years. I'm like, yeah, it'd probably happen.
So I will say this, like, I don't know if things get so far that the option to help is completely out the window. Like, if I come to you, Bradley, and I've been attacked by a horde of rats, and I come in saying, like, help me, do you think you're going to offer me first aid? Of course you would.
I would consider it.
You would consider it?
Yeah.
Is your only other option to set me on fire? Because that's what Kurt wants to do.
Possibly.
Yeah. I love that Kurt's only option, instead of helping his friend, is to set him on fire.
Yeah.
He's on fire, and he goes to the window, and he's outside, and they're like, finish him off. And I'm like, finish him off.
Yeah, this is the scene that reminded me of
is
the
he
Thing.
Not already dead?
Because the music right here really sounded like The Thing. When they're all standing outside and they burn the one that's out in the snow. I was like, this, even the way they have it framed and all the people and the fire, I was like, he just stole this from The Thing. He watched The Thing and goes, ooh, I like that. I'm gonna use it.
That's a cool scene.
But, Mattei does this a lot, so.
So they set Noah on fire after he's been attacked by rats. Lucifer was found down below. Again, more rats around his dead body. What does Kurt do? Sets it on fire. Why? He's already dead. Why set him on fire?
Well, you gotta burn the rats.
Do you, though?
I mean, I think so.
Maybe.
PETA would not like it because they actually set these rats on fire. You can see that these rats are bursting into flames. And I wonder why some of them died on set, or a lot of them anyways.
Like, a lot of them died on set.
I'm not even, who needs to go in order anymore? It's just, it's a ridiculous movie.
It is. And a lot of this film is just them running around, trying to survive, trying to find, like, it's weird for moments where he's all like, oh, we're trapped. There's no way out. And it's like, 10 seconds later, they exit the building. And I'm like, well, clearly you found a way out. Although I will say the best form of rat attack, it's not dropping from the sky, Bradley. It's not the fact that they leap out at you and bite your face. When I have hundreds of rats, what look like on a conveyor belt, that to me is peak rat perfection.
The way, like, this is the one scene where it's not actual rats. You can tell that it's like 2 or 3 levels, and it's on a rotating thing that's just moving up and down.
It's just rotating the same rats again and again.
I was like, this is hilarious.
Is gold.
The rat wave, as I called it on my notes.
I would rather have multiple rat waves than, like, actually the live rats. Have that shit, like, plastered on a wall and just have it rotate and move.
Yeah, even if they kind of made a silhouette and you just see shadows of all these rats and make it really look like, oh my gosh, there are so many rats coming for them.
Have a rat on a string attached to a fishing pole and someone's just like cranking the fishing pole to like pull it across the room. I don't know. It's because some of the things, like when they just apply just the live rat aspect, it just does what an animal does and it sits there. So it's not always like, being trained to jump and attack or anything like that.
No.
But like sometimes when you have quote unquote practical effects and it's so absurd, it laughs at itself almost. And this is where it is definitely the Mattei charm. This is definitely like the cheap aspect of an Italian horror film that you kind of just go like, all right, this is what I came for. This is what I want.
You say what you will about these movies that I've watched this month of his. For the most part, yeah, they're not good, but they're damn entertaining. This has a lot of entertainment value to it, and it's one of those, I own it on Blu-ray now, and I will definitely watch it again just because it's just dumb. It's ridiculous. Yep. I don't know. It's just stupid fun. I even put in my notes, are these the Italian Village people? Because of all the way they're all dressed.
There's enough of this movie where Lilith has the rat climb out of her mouth when she's clearly dead.
Yes.
You have
that was cool.
Tauros. You have Tauros, who apparently has already died and the rats have infested his body and then crawl out in such force from his backside that he explodes and rats come out. I'm like, see, this is stuff that's neat.
Yes.
This is stuff that's kind of cool.
And then you show the rats that just kind of are just kind of hanging out.
And they're just kind of, yeah, some of the rats are just kind of there.
And they did that. Like I said, they painted white rats, and they did it because the white ones have the red eyes. That way they paint them black. They have red eyes. They're going to look more menacing, I guess. And I think there's one that's either it's half white, half black that they show a couple times.
I think it's actually just a white rat that is dirty.
And I was like, is this the leader?
Is this the leader? Is this Willard?
Well, I thought they would come.
Is that Ben?
I thought they'd come back to that of like, is this the rat wave? This rat army leader, but it never really panned out to much of anything.
There is I don't know how to say it. Like it's a natural, but like it's like a freak occurrence where something is known as a rat king.
Okay.
And a rat king is where you have rats living in the same place, and they're so on top of each other while trying to move and mate and, eat and defecate and whatever, that their tails get tied up. And so a rat king is literally a giant ball of rats that are interconnected because their tails are so tied together.
Oh, see, it would have been cool if they had something like that.
See, what if you had something like that? You had like the one rat that's been kind of like gnawing and eating on the others to survive, and it's like stronger and it's like pulling itself across the floor. See, take like a note from like Graveyard Shift from Stephen King, right? You have the giant mutated bat rat thing that's like killing people.
What do we get here at the end? The rat war is over. Didn't know there was a rat war.
We've heard recordings that they listened to from the computer. Some guy who's like, my time is almost up. I'm dying, Pop. Yeah, saying like, if you were hearing this, you could like, stay away from them.
We get to the end where this is where more people finally show up. They're all in their hazmat suits coming in because it's all like this government thing. This is a facility, I think.
We're friends, right? We're not enemies. And he's like, yeah. Like the nodding. I love the nodding. He's like, yeah, we're friends.
And then what happens? He takes his mask off, and it's a rat person.
The first time that I ever saw this and that reveal happened, I was like, yes. Clearly the mutation and the government experiments. Now we have super smart and evolved, literally like rat folk.
Yes.
And I thought that was so cool. I thought that was like just the neatest little twist. I think you could almost definitely see it coming, but I thought that was just a great twist. And I think that's really neat. And it's also, I love the fact that like they themselves obviously stay away from the lesser rats as well.
Yes.
I love that. I love the fact that like, oh no, we've evolved way past like our rabid and animalistic ancestors. Like we leave them to their own devices.
We're way past, you people who are in this building too.
It's almost like you could pair this movie with that ending with, Hell Came to Frogtown.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. We get a rat person, movie ends. Overall, I mean, this is your second podcast you've talked about Rats, Night of Terror. What do you think of it, and what would you give it out of a 5?
So I gave it a 3 out of 5. I enjoy this movie for what it is, even the nonsensical things where you're like, huh? I will say that I think a lot of this film makes more sense than
Hell of the Living Dead.
Hell of the Living Dead, sorry.
Another nonsensical
Mattei movie. I think there's parts of this that make more sense to it, and I think it only makes more sense to it because my brain can wrap it around and just kind of like justify, but it's a dystopia.
Okay.
It's post-apocalyptic. A lot of things I can just, you smile and nod at. And you're like, okay, it's fine. The world kind of ended. I guess we'll go with it.
You can brush some logic under the table when it's post-apocalyptic.
I think you can. I could only imagine that if this movie was remade, I think they could do wonders with it. You would definitely not have, obviously, live rats being
correct
subjected to this type of like treatment. But I think you could easily have a good mix of live and realistic CGI rats.
The rat people at the end could really be, I mean, you could really do something cool with some practical effects of like,
oh yeah,
not just one person revealing. You could have had a whole group of like a reveal and go, oh crap.
See, you slowly integrate the people that are the rat folk. Like you have them call in to the computer because like no one's supposed to be in this area. This area is supposed to be, it's contaminated. It is restricted. It's only for the rats. No one goes there anymore. And yet we see that like something's been turned on and like someone's on this frequency. And all you show is like the backside of someone's hazmat suit and they're at the computer. You see like a gloved hand, like hit a switch to talk. And they even talk to them and say like, stay there. Like we're going to send a team. And then like, it just slowly builds that up.
It could be, especially in today's age, they could make it really cool.
This could easily be a Netflix kind of movie or hell. I mean, with as progressive as you're getting with certain directors, as you know, this could be another like Tubi original remake.
Hey, Tubi, if you listen to my podcast, which of course you are. I mean, I know everybody at Tubi listens to my podcast. You should make a remake Rats Night of Terror or a Rats Night of Terror miniseries, like, 5 episodes.
I think this would work. As Bradley and I, as we are your greatest Tubi ambassadors.
Absolutely.
You should listen to us.
So for me, I also give it a 3 out of 5. I mean, it's enjoyable. I'll watch it again. I mean, all the Mattei movies that I have done this month, I mean, I probably watch again just for pure entertainment value because they're just ridiculous fun. We'll get to it next week. The final Mattei movie comes out next week, and you'll hear my thoughts on Night Killers. We'll leave it at that. Well, you have anything else you want to say about Rats Night of Terror?
Well, I do know that if y'all are interested, they came out with a nice Blu-ray. I think even a 4K.
They did come out with a 4K.
And the 4K you could buy separately. There is a novelization.
Severin Films released all these. They got a Blu-ray, a 4K, and the novelization. I just got the Blu-ray. Watch some of the special features. They have some interviews with Greta, and kind of how we didn't talk about how she got the role. Her roommate was offered the role.
Yeah, her roommate passed it up. Yeah,
and said, "Hey, you should take it."
Too low a pay, and Greta's like, "Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I'll do it."
So I do think it is kind of just in my own amusement, a bit fortuitous. I also reviewed this movie with you because my Blu-ray of Rats Night of Terror is a double feature with Hell of the Living Dead.
Oh yes, I forgot they do have that.
It's literally in the same two movies.
And you ultimately the universe wanted you to come on for both. Because I think that one, isn't that the Blue Underground? It's like a 2 set with both of them. Yep, the universe said, you have this, Drew. You're going to do both episodes. And you did. You came on in a pinch and talked Rats Night of Terror. I want to thank you again, Drew, for coming on.
Yeah.
I mean, I always have a blast talking to you. Let people know where they can find Drew and see all the movies and such that you watch as well. You think I watch a lot. You ain't seen nothing yet.
I have no life. So you can find the Real Feels podcast just on any of your podcatchers. We're over on social media, Real Feels Pod on Twitter. We got a Facebook, but I don't really update that much. Instagram. A lot of the stuff, if it's not show related, it's mainly just me posting my watchings and just, interacting with folks online. If you want to check out my own letterbox, you can look up Dr. Homie H.
I'll have all the links.
So you can see what I'm watching.
I mean, with that, we're coming to the end of the month of Mattei. I have had an absolute blast this month doing this series. 6 movies, 6 guests. Well, 5 guests now. 6 movies, 5 guests. But it's been so much fun watching, and because I'd never seen these Mattei movies before this month, and it's been fun watching these. So we have one more left, one more episode coming out next week. Jason from Binge Movies joins me to talk Night Killer, and that one's a little bit of an opposite. That is Claudio Fragasso movie he made, and the studio was like, no, we need more gore in it, so they hired Bruno to come in to add a bunch of scenes, and it caused a rift between the two. That I had to save that one for last. So join me next week as we talk Night Killer. And that will do it for this chapter of Old Man Brad. Just subscribe to the show so you don't miss any of the fun things. Follow me on all the social medias because I'm in the middle of doing 50 years of film countdown. I'm doing one movie from every year, 1975 to 2025, picking some of my favorites through those 50 years that kind of define my movie journey. But I'm having fun doing all that. I'll be back soon with a new chapter. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. I'll talk to you later, everybody.